really need to read Percy Jackson. I hear that series also has nice little groups you can sort yourself into, only it comes without the ever-present knowledge that the author just does not respect you or the people you care about. Even a little. Hey y'all, I'm Oakwyrm, but you can call me Victor, and she's back at it again, folks. I don't know why our dearest Joanne decided that now was the time to add more turfy bullshit to the world, but here we are. I won't go into the exact shit she said this time, but suffice it to say, on the 6th of June 2020, she tweeted some transphobic bullshit. Again. Granted, this one's been the hardest to excuse for a lot of people, and seemingly the one that kicked people into really actually realizing she's serious about this transphobia thing, but it's basically same old, same old. So I'm not actually here to talk about that. Jamie, aka Jammy Dodger, did a great job breaking it all down in a video the day after it happened, so I'll be linking to that in the description, along with a link to a Vice article that lists a bunch of places you can go to support Black trans people. What I'm actually here to talk about is growing up with a series that means so much to you, with characters that you love and relate to, a series that fueled 99.9% of the games you and your childhood friends played in the yard and that you have so many good memories of. A series that was, and is, for better or worse, a special interest. And then, as an adult or older teenager, coming to the sudden and crushing realization that the author hates you for being you. Because aside from being trans, I'm also autistic. I can't get Harry Potter out of my head. It is in there. I don't know if there's any way for it not to be anymore. My focus on it may ebb and flow over time, but as it is with all the series that were integral parts of my childhood, it is well and truly stuck. I've created massive, sprawling, canonically accurate, up to a point, family trees. I've spent days laser-focused on diving as deep as I can into the wiki to make sure I'm getting everything right. Names, birth and death dates, every single second, third and fourth cousin. I've written tens of thousands of words of fanfiction. Most of it has never seen the light of day, but the point is I did it. Of course, with growing up came the realization that the books were woefully lacking in diversity, and had some very yikes moments vis-a-vis coding and, the house elves, the centaurs, the goblins, the giants. Basically every sapient non-human species, actually. I don't think I've ever seen anyone point out how fucking weird it is for the Vila to be any Quidditch team's mascot when they're clearly sapient, but I'm getting off topic. All of these things are things you can look at critically. It's similar to how any responsible reader reads, say, Lovecraft. We don't pretend he didn't have a massive impact on horror as a genre, but we also acknowledge that he was really, really fucking racist. Even for his time, he was racist, and that's not something we can just ignore when we consume and analyze his work. Which is why you need to stop making jokes trying to sever author from creation. Death of the author, yes, fine, I know. But death of the author does not mean the author ceases to exist. Their intent with the work is meaningless next to your interpretation. We know this. But they're still a person, and their worldview and opinions will have affected what and how they wrote. Completely divorcing a work from its creator does everyone a disservice because it removes a very key piece of context for analysis, namely the author themselves. To get back to Joanne, for example, she started to put out more stuff, and the pattern continued. She continued to ignore indigenous voices when they told her she was representing them wrong and using pieces of their cultures that she really should leave alone. She continued to make her goblins like that. She continued to be incredibly Eurocentric, and even within Europe, her understanding began to quickly fall apart as soon as she stepped outside of arguably just England, not even the entire UK or British Isles. Just England. That's it. She continued to sidestep any actual meaningful queer representation, even when she's had every opportunity to include us, Basically, she continued to ignore all criticism leveled against her and plow ahead with just absolutely no thought or change. And she started liking transphobic tweets, and then tweeting transphobic shit. And it came to a point where I had to sit back and take a moment to process. Because all of this, it hurts. It hurt me especially much when I was younger and only just coming to realize that she wasn't someone I could respect anymore. To see this person who created this world I longed to step into, which was a safe place I traveled to every summer for years, to watch the image I'd built up of her just crumble to dust before my eyes, and pull her work down along with her, it hurt. Never follow your heroes on Twitter, I guess. Thing is, though, you cannot divorce her from her work. It is steeped in all her prejudice and her refusal to listen and learn. If you want to consume it, you have to acknowledge where it came from. You have to sit there and be aware of what you're reading. Tumblr loves to tell people they can only consume the purest of media because, ironically, for the fucking cesspit that it is, it's actually borderline puritanical in its attitude to everything, basically. This is wrong on multiple levels, but today the point is this. What you actually need to do is consume media critically. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're a terrible person if you like Harry Potter or if it still holds some special significance to you, because that would be hypocritical of me. I'm not sure I like Harry Potter itself anymore, but some of the fanfictions it spawned are absolute masterpieces, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to pretend like Remus and Sirius, and what they could have been, don't mean the world to me. There is a lot of hurt, and a lot of very complicated feelings here that I'm not quite sure I can properly articulate. I loved being a Hufflepuff for so long. I don't think I can do that anymore. Her actions and words hurt me on a very personal level, but more importantly, it's painful to see someone with such a large platform use it to continuously put others down, to ignore the criticism leveled against her, to continuously refuse to listen or learn. Especially right now with the widespread protests against police brutality and the fucking global pandemic, like, Jesus Christ, lady, could you have picked a worse moment in history to do this? I'm so tired. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, consider liking it and maybe subscribing. I will be back here Thursday after next.